Yo, what's up? What's up, yo? Tuesday, May 21st, in the year of Rom 2019. Hey, check it out. That Malik energy. Yeah, first let me give a shout out to Cousin T-Tall for introducing that name to that archetype. Now, I had talked about that archetype with a video I did a while ago called The Genius Bruiser. And just for the record, I didn't make up that term, Genius Bruiser. That's actually a TV trope. And like the Hulk would be a genius bruiser, or the Beast from the X-Men. Like real smart, but very physical as well. And, in the community, we got all these videos talking about Pookie and Ray Ray. Don't mean to trigger anybody, but, that's kind of become an archetype. And then you have the Carlton. I mean, it had been called the Educated Lane, but I like the name Carlton. And for any metaphysics students, they recognize the use of archetypes. It's actually a deep science if you understand it, and it actually helps your right brain to understand the concept. But the Maliks, that's actually what I've been about all along, that whole Malik archetype. And Malik in African means king. And if you think about the ancient kings, not the modern ones who don't have to fight wars, but the ancient kings had to actually lead their armies and stuff. They get out there and fight. So they were smart, had the intelligence to lead people, but they could also get out there and kick your ass. And that's what we have in the community. That's what I've always promoted. That's what my book, Nice Guys and Players, is about. I don't have techniques in it because Nice Guys and Players is more about adopting an archetype where you that type of man who can make the women scream in a bedroom, but you can also, you can also, be a professional or something like that. Because a lot of times when people get into this Pookie and Ray Ray argument, Pookie and Ray Ray versus Carlton argument, the dudes who identify more as Carltons like to think that, we're intelligent, we running everything. And no, not really. Not really. It's really the Maliks. Or in this country, the equivalent to Malik, the authors. Get it, King Arthur? And actually, I looked up something real quick. That's actually what the name Arthur means, is king. Because that whole King Arthur story is an archetype. Yeah. Don't know. Anyway, that whole King Arthur story is an archetype. And that's basically what we have here. And it's funny. This is going to be kind of a ramble anyway. But it's funny. She don't need to hear what I'm saying. It's kind of funny because when one of Cousin T-Tall's videos, somebody got on there and they were like, yeah, the Coltons run the army and everything. And I'm like, oh, no, they don't. If you look at who really runs stuff, the CEOs, and don't count Bezos or what's his name? Wait, hold on a second. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to sneeze. Got a little bit of fever and stuff. Let me get out of here. That's why I'm waiting for me to leave. Anyway, if those are just two CEOs who people know. But if you look at the average business owner or CEO or general in the army, shoot, these some rough motherfuckers. Shoot, you got to have a certain mindset to run things. In fact, coming from the gym, I'll be lifting in the morning with these white CEOs in the morning or business owners. Shoot. I still never forget one casually talking about dropping money out of Ruth Chris like it's nothing. And even with the army thing, dude, if somebody's a general in the army, and I had a good workout, I'm steamy. If you're talking about the army, if you really look at these military generals and stuff like that, typically they went to West Point. Typically, not always, but typically went to some place like West Point. Anybody familiar with the military academies know if you attend, if you even get in, you have to play a varsity sport. You have to play a sport. That's like a requirement. In fact, if you look at the elite prep schools, you have to play a sport. Okay, somebody being nice. I got to do my little dap for them. All right, hold on, y'all. Anyway, I think I just gave a white person a black power fist. Anyway, yeah, if you understand that, that's the energy that runs this country, because it's really no different from the energy of like ancient kingdoms and stuff. It's still like the kings and the warriors were the physical specimens. They had to be physical. They had to be able to kick ass. They often, even to be king, they had to kick other people's ass physically. And yeah, of course, yeah, you got some CEOs, congressmen, and everything. You probably ain't on that, but you know, if you really look at it, in fact, somebody did a study on that. They said most CEOs are like tall. Most male CEOs are more likely to be tall. You know, dominant, physically dominant. And I've seen that in a lot of places. Like you get managers and stuff. You get the authors. They running stuff. And you know, that's the energy I think men have to embrace. Like, that's why I talk about the body. See, I talk about the body game because a lot of people might embrace the intellectual side of it and say, well, I'm smart, I got these good morals and all that. I'm like, well, you got to be physical too. You got to have an edge to you. You know, the people with that king energy, yes, they can be benevolent, they can be kind, but sometimes they got to be like off with your head. That's just how it is. Shoot. In fact, I remember I was talking with, I remember a conversation I had with a buddy years ago. And we both agreed. He said, you know, one person you don't want to fight is a CEO. You corner one in an alley, they might fuck your ass up. Because you got to have a certain mindset with that. You got to have a certain mindset and a certain way you walk and everything. You got to carry yourself. You got to have a rough edge, because sometimes you got to make tough decisions. You got to have the balls to do it. And that's actually what my shit's always been about. Not techniques, but a state of being. Like you wake up in it. That's the energy that you have. That genius bruiser, that Malik energy. Now, I've often talked about when I worked at different gyms. And the last one I worked at, I mean, you had dudes in there. If you saw them just lifting and talking, you would swear all out they thugs, but they were like financial analysts, engineers, attorneys, and definitely some cops. And if you think about cops and stuff, shoot, that's the perfect for Malik energy. Or federal agents, special forces. That's still that warrior energy. And what I found, and women can chime in on this. A dude who got that physicality, and that it don't necessarily mean muscles. You could be like a slim dude, but just tough as shit, ready to fight, ready to box, or a big dude just with some power. It ain't always about the aesthetics with a true Malik, but it is about that mindset. You got that edge, that physical thing. Shoot, you could walk in a poor neighborhood, or you could walk among some Pookie and Ray Rays, and they'll back off of you just on energy alone. But also that type, like you can like throw that suit on, go in that corporate boardroom and still kick ass. And you know, that's always been my philosophy. That's the thing. That's what I noticed with the Thorough brothers. Like I know a brother now, and you know, he's like a general manager of I'll just say a major something. He might not want his name mentioned on these videos, but that dude was like the star football player. Plus, like off campus, he's one of the quickest to throw a punch if there's a fight going down. But now that motherfucker, a black man CEO or something, well, general manager of something major. I put it like that. I knew another cat. He's actually in Wikipedia. But that dude had a rough ass edge. But if you see him now, you be thinking, oh, he just looked like a young Republican and shit. That motherfucker fuck your ass up. Plus, he probably gave me the best haircut I ever had. And that's what that energy is about. Just not just having one side, just not just emphasizing like, oh, I'm a thug, I'm a street dude, or I'm just a jock, or just like, oh, I'm an intellectual dude. See, a lot of people get caught up. I can tell I'm catching my breath. I did legs today. Like if you can breathe well after doing legs, you didn't do a good job. Anyway, the dude, you wanna have that energy. You wanna have that energy. Like I said, that dude probably gave me the best haircut ever, but he could, he still had that edge to him. He still fuck you up if you rubbed him the wrong way. And that's what it's all about, just being well-rounded. There's no law that says you can't, there's no law that says you can't, like, hang out or something and hang with the fellas, have some edge to you, but then pick up a book, too. In fact, when I used to sell books, it used to be the so-called thug types, the jock types, the physical types that would pick up the books. It wasn't the Carltons that would pick up my deep books anyway. So that edge, being well-rounded, I mean, when I was coming up, it was just being a thorough brother. Being able to hit it on all cylinders, being Ghost, being Stringer Bell. In fact, Tariq Nasheed talked about it. That's basically, I might call it the real man in Nice Guys and Players, and Cousin T-Tall call it, the Maliks. TV tropes call it Genius Bruiser. Tariq Nasheed, who seems to have universal respect with most people in this game, just call it an urban renaissance man. That man who could, like, just hit all cylinders. And that's all it is. But anyway, yeah, that was really a good leg workout. I'm like, God damn. I was throwing that motherfucker up. But that's a good thing. Got veins popping on my legs. So anyway, yo, that's it for today. Just wanted to give that perspective. Like, if you're dealing with me, that's always what I'm about. I don't care what else I talk about. Like, a lot of stuff I talk about is just some extra shit. But it's all about, if you like that intelligent type of guy, get more into your physicality. Maybe instead of sitting around and looking at a bunch of studies and theories, getting your ass in the gym or getting your ass in a dojo and really doing some physical shit, getting out there more. And if you that type, you more on the physical side, picking up a book. So anyway, that's it for today, yo. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.